was pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him. But when you hear him, that's another story.
Possession, control, violence.
Throughout history, certain figures have left scars so dark that their stories still haunt us today.
As my obsession grew, I was saving body parts such as skulls and skeletons.
These aren't just accounts of wrongdoing. They're haunting glimpses into minds distorted by power, cruelty, and fear.
Completely out of touch, and it's an insult to the intelligence of the American people.
As a case in point, a man whose merciless acts against 100 children left the nation stunned and in utter disbelief. From tyrants who wielded fear as a weapon to killers whose motives defy understanding, these 25 infamous individuals reveal the darkest depths of human nature. Number 25. Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy was an American psychopath who confessed to the brutal murders of over 30 young women across several states in the 1970s. Known for his intelligence, good looks, and chilling ability to gain trust, Bundy carefully targeted women, often using manipulative tactics like feigning an injury or requesting help to lure them to isolated locations. Once he had them alone, he unleashed a terrifying level of violence that shocked investigators and the public alike. What made Bundy especially terrifying was his ability to mask his psychopathic tendencies with a calm, well-spoken, and normal exterior. His charm and self-assured manner allowed him to evade detection and blend seamlessly into society, enabling his killing spree to continue for years. Even after his capture, Bundy's manipulation persisted. He famously escaped from custody twice and later defended himself in court, presenting a chillingly composed demeanor that captivated the media and horrified the nation. His case profoundly impacted public awareness, demonstrating the dangers that lurk behind a psychopath's charming mask and highlighting the importance of psychological profiling in law enforcement. Bundy's story remains a dark reminder of how such individuals can disguise evil beneath an ordinary appearance, leaving a lasting mark on criminal history. In a chilling parallel, another figure emerged from the shadows of horror, Jawd Iqbal, whose monstrous acts against over 100 children would forever change the landscape of crime in Pakistan. Number 24. Jawd Iqbal. Jawd Iqbal is a name that evokes horror and disbelief, infamous for his monstrous crimes against children in Pakistan. He is accused of abducting and murdering over 100 young boys, a staggering number that underscores the magnitude of his depravity. Iqbal's heinous acts not only traumatized families, but also sent shockwaves through society, prompting widespread fear and outrage. His arrest marked a pivotal moment in Pakistan's struggle to address child exploitation and ensure the safety of its most vulnerable citizens. Following his arrest and a high-profile trial, Iqbal was sentenced to death in a manner as horrific as his own acts. The judge ordered that he be strangled with the same chains he used on his victims, dismembered and dissolved in acid, mirroring the way he disposed of the children. The details surrounding his crimes and the subsequent legal proceedings highlighted critical flaws in the justice system, raising urgent questions about the effectiveness of law enforcement in protecting children from such atrocities. Iqbal's legacy serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk within communities and the urgent need for comprehensive reforms to safeguard children from violence and abuse. Number 23. Elizabeth Bathory. Known as the Blood Countess, Elizabeth Bathory was a Hungarian noblewoman infamous for her alleged crimes against young girls in the late 16th and early 17th centuries. Bathory is believed to have tortured and killed hundreds of girls, luring them with promises of work or advancement, only to subject them to horrific violence. According to legend, she even bathed in the blood of her victims, believing it would preserve her youth and beauty, though the truth of this claim is still debated. Bathory's actions eventually led to a trial where testimonies painted a horrifying picture of cruelty within her castle. Though some argue that the extent of her crimes may have been exaggerated or politically motivated, she remains a haunting figure, her story evoking both fascination and horror. Bathory's legacy has since inspired countless tales of vampirism and cruelty, solidifying her as one of history's most notorious figures. Number 22. Ivan Milat. Ivan Milat, one of Australia's most infamous serial killers, was responsible for the backpacker murders that horrified the nation between 1989 and 1993. Milat targeted young travelers, luring them into the Australian bush under the guise of offering a ride or assistance. Once isolated, he subjected his victims to unspeakable torture before killing them, leaving their bodies hidden in the Belanglo State Forest. The brutal nature of his crimes, along with the remote wilderness setting, instilled fear in Australia and around the world, especially among backpackers and travelers. Milat's arrest in 1994 led to his conviction for the murders of 7 young people, though investigators suspect he may have had additional victims. Sentenced to life in prison without parole, Milat's case remains one of Australia's most chilling, a dark reminder of the dangers that can lie hidden along the traveler's path. Number 21. Jeffrey Dahmer. Jeffrey Dahmer was an American serial killer whose horrifying crimes shocked the world. Between 1978 and 1991, he murdered 17 men and boys, committing acts that went far beyond murder. Dahmer's actions included sexual assault, necrophilia, and even cannibalism, which he carried out with chilling precision in his apartment, where he kept disturbing trophies of his victims. Despite several encounters with the police, Dahmer managed to avoid capture for years, allowing his spree to continue. His arrest and subsequent confessions revealed a gruesome account of his crimes, sparking public outrage and widespread media coverage. Dahmer's story remains one of the most disturbing in criminal history, highlighting both the depths of human depravity and the tragic consequences of a system that repeatedly failed to stop him. Number 20. Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin was the Soviet dictator whose oppressive regime resulted in the deaths of millions of his own citizens. Rising to power after Vladimir Lenin's death, he implemented brutal policies marked by purges, forced labor camps, and widespread famine. During the Great Terror of the 1930s, Stalin targeted perceived enemies within the Communist Party and society, leading to the execution and imprisonment of countless individuals. His rule instilled a climate of fear, as citizens lived in constant anxiety of being accused and punished for dissent. Additionally, his aggressive collectivization of agriculture caused devastating famines, particularly in Ukraine, where millions died from starvation. While Stalin transformed the Soviet Union into a global superpower, it came at an unimaginable human cost. His policies prioritized industrialization over human life, sacrificing countless individuals for economic progress. Stalin's legacy remains a haunting reminder of the dangers of totalitarianism and the cruelty that can arise from unchecked power. Even decades after his death, the repercussions of his actions continue to shape the historical narrative of the 20th century. The impact of his tyranny serves as a stark lesson in the fragility of freedom and the importance of holding power accountable. Number 19. Charles Manson. Charles Manson led the Manson family cult, orchestrating a series of grisly murders in 1969, including the high-profile killing of actress Sharon Tate and 4 others. Manson preyed on vulnerable followers, isolating them from society and manipulating them into deadly devotion. He preached a philosophy of chaos, believing in an impending race war, and urged his followers to act on these dark visions. The shocking brutality of the Manson family murders shattered the perceived safety of the 1960s, introducing America to a darker reality. His ability to twist others into instruments of violence remains a chilling reminder of manipulation's dangers. Even after his death, Manson's legacy endures as a grim example of the potential for evil lurking in society. Number 18. Pol Pot. In 1975, this man Pol Pot, leader of Cambodia's Khmer Rouge, initiated one of history's deadliest regimes, responsible for the deaths of nearly 2 million people. Pursuing a radical form of agrarian socialism, Pol Pot aimed to create a classless society by dismantling cities, abolishing currency, and forcing urban residents into the countryside for grueling labor. The regime targeted intellectuals, professionals, and those associated with the former government, leading to widespread executions and suffering. Entire families and communities vanished under the Khmer Rouge's brutal policies, leaving lasting scars on Cambodian society. Pol Pot's legacy remains a stark reminder of the destructive potential of extremist ideologies unchecked by compassion. Number 17. Ed Gein. He was a notorious American killer and grave robber whose horrifying crimes inspired horror films like Psycho and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. In rural Wisconsin, he exhumed bodies from graves, using skin and bones to craft grotesque items like masks and furniture. His twisted fascination with death and his domineering mother drove him to gruesome acts that shocked the nation. When authorities investigated a local woman's disappearance in 1957, they uncovered his nightmarish collection. Though deemed insane and confined to a mental institution, Gein's legacy still haunts popular culture. Number 16. John Wayne Gacy. The man, John Wayne Gacy, became infamous as the Killer Clown, an American serial killer and sex offender who targeted boys and young men in the 1970s. Living a disturbing double life, Gacy was a well-regarded community figure by day, performing at children's parties as Pogo the Clown, yet hid a dark, violent nature beneath the friendly exterior. Luring his victims with promises of work or friendship, he subjected them to unspeakable cruelty before ending their lives. Over several years, Gacy murdered 33 young men and boys, burying most of them in the crawl space under his house. His eventual arrest and the grim discovery of the bodies left the nation in shock, exposing the sinister reality behind his seemingly ordinary facade. Convicted and sentenced to death, he was executed in 1994, leaving behind a chilling legacy as one of history's most notorious killers and a reminder of the evil that can hide in plain sight. Number 15. Aileen Wuornos. A rare case in criminal history, Aileen Wuornos stands out as one of the few documented female serial killers, responsible for the murders of 7 men in Florida between 1989 and 1990. Her troubled life, marked by abuse and homelessness, led her to claim self-defense, alleging that her victims had assaulted her while she worked as a prostitute. However, the brutal nature of her killing suggested deeper motives. Wuornos was convicted and executed in 2002, and her case sparked debates about the role of trauma, mental illness, and social factors in violent crime. Her story continues to influence discussions on criminal behavior and has been the subject of films and books. Number 14. Richard Ramirez. Known as the Night Stalker, Richard Ramirez was an American serial killer, rapist, and burglar who instilled fear in Los Angeles during the mid-1980s. His chilling modus operandi involved breaking into homes at night, committing brutal assaults and murders with no clear pattern, making it hard for investigators to predict his next move. Ramirez's spree left 13 dead and many others injured, with his cryptic symbols intensifying public anxiety. His trial became a media sensation, especially after he claimed to follow Satan. Convicted and sentenced to death, Ramirez remained on death row until his passing in 2013. His crimes continued to serve as a dark reminder of the evil that can exist in the world. Number 13. Andrei Chikatilo. Andrei Chikatilo, infamously known as the Butcher of Rostov, was a Soviet serial killer whose crimes horrified the nation. Between 1978 and 1990, Chikatilo committed a string of murders, primarily targeting women and children, and was eventually convicted of 52 brutal killings. His methods were particularly savage, involving both sexual assault and mutilation, which intensified the public's fear and shock as authorities struggled for years to identify and capture him. Chikatilo's attacks were marked by their randomness, with victims often selected based on opportunity rather than any discernible pattern. The investigation was fraught with obstacles, from limited forensic technology to bureaucratic issues within the Soviet police system, which allowed Chikatilo to evade capture for over a decade. His eventual arrest and trial exposed the horrifying details of his crimes to a stunned public, and he was ultimately sentenced to death, a sentence carried out in 1994. Chikatilo's legacy remains a chilling chapter in Russia's criminal history, representing one of the darkest cases of unchecked violence and the haunting failures of a system unable to protect its most vulnerable citizens. Number 12. Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler, the dictator of Nazi Germany from 1933 to 1945, stands as one of the most scandalous figures in history, responsible for initiating World War II and orchestrating horrific crimes that led to the deaths of millions. Rising to power on a platform of nationalism and racial superiority, Hitler systematically implemented policies that would bring unimaginable suffering to Europe and beyond. His leadership fueled the Holocaust, the brutal genocide in which 6 million Jews were targeted and murdered, alongside millions of other minorities, political dissidents, and those deemed undesirable by the Nazi regime. Hitler's ambitions and policies led to a global conflict that reshaped nations, claimed the lives of nearly 70 million people, and left much of Europe in ruins. His legacy serves as a powerful and tragic warning about the dangers of extremist ideology, unchecked authority, and hatred on a global scale. Hitler's impact endures, reminding us of the devastating consequences when humanity's darkest impulses are left to grow. Number 11. Osama bin Laden. Osama bin Laden, the founder of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, masterminded the devastating 9/11 attacks in 2001, killing nearly 3,000 people and changing the world forever. Born into a wealthy Saudi family, he used his resources to build a violent extremist network with the aim of waging global jihad. The 9/11 attacks were the deadliest and most impactful of his planned attacks, prompting the war on terror and the US invasion of Afghanistan. Bin Laden evaded capture for almost a decade before being killed by US Navy SEALs in 2011. His legacy serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of extremist ideologies and the lasting impact of terrorism on global security. Number 10. Jack the Ripper. In the foggy streets of Victorian London, a mysterious figure known as Jack the Ripper committed a series of horrific murders that struck fear into the hearts of the city's residents. Between August and November of 1888, this unidentified killer targeted at least 5 women in the Whitechapel district, leaving them brutally mutilated. The shocking nature of these crimes sent the community into a panic and left the police desperately searching for answers. As fear spread, newspapers sensationalized the story, transforming Jack the Ripper into a legendary figure of horror. Despite extensive investigations, the killer was never caught, leading to numerous theories and a long list of suspects, from local butchers to wealthy gentlemen. The tale of Jack the Ripper goes beyond mere crime. It highlights the fears and struggles of that era. Even today, the mystery remains unsolved, captivating those who seek to uncover the truth about one of history's most notorious criminals. As the world grappled with the aftermath of such horrors, a more insidious evil was brewing elsewhere, one that would redefine the very fabric of society. Number 9. Vlad the Impaler. Known as Vlad Dracula, Vlad the Impaler was the Prince of Wallachia, infamous for his brutal tactics against his enemies. His favored method of punishment, impaling captives on long wooden stakes, was both a terrifying spectacle and a message to those who opposed him. Vlad's reputation for cruelty spread quickly, painting him as a merciless leader willing to go to any lengths to secure his rule. Legends of his ruthless methods and thirst for power are believed to have inspired the character of Dracula, adding a dark mystique to his legacy. Though he defended his land against invaders, his reign remained shadowed by his reputation for merciless violence, making him one of history's most infamous figures. Number 8. Pedro Alonso Lopez. Nicknamed the Monster of the Andes, Pedro Alonso Lopez is considered one of the world's most prolific serial killers. During the 1970s, Lopez is believed to have preyed on and murdered over 300 young girls across Colombia, Ecuador, and Peru. His crimes went undetected for years as he moved between countries, targeting vulnerable young victims in remote areas. Captured in 1980, Lopez confessed to the staggering number of murders, shocking the public and authorities alike with his chilling lack of remorse. Despite his confessions, legal complexities and varying penal systems allowed him to evade a life sentence in prison, sparking outrage and disbelief. Lopez's case remains one of the most haunting and controversial, underscoring the terrifying reality of a killer who could slip through the cracks of justice. Number 7. Dennis Rader. For nearly 2 decades, Dennis Rader terrorized Kansas under the alias BTK, bind, torture, kill, a name he chillingly crafted to describe his method. Behind the mask of an ordinary family man and church leader, Rader hid his monstrous nature, secretly preying on his unsuspecting community. From 1974 to 1991, he meticulously carried out the murders of 10 people, carefully planning each crime to feed his twisted desire for control. As if the acts themselves weren't enough, Rader taunted police with letters detailing his crimes, reveling in the terror he spread and the authority he mocked. His capture finally came in 2005, thanks to a mix of new forensic methods and his own arrogance. Rader's case remains a grim reminder of how deeply disturbing secrets can lurk behind even the most familiar faces. Number 6. Jim Jones. As the architect of the Jonestown Massacre, Jim Jones led one of the deadliest cult tragedies in history. In the secluded jungles of Guyana in 1978, over 900 of his followers perished in a horrifying mass murder-suicide after Jones commanded them to drink poison-laced punch. Once viewed as a charismatic preacher championing racial equality and social justice, Jones's movement spiraled into a controlling, isolated cult where obedience was demanded and dissent was brutally stifled. The horrific aftermath, with bodies of men, women, and children lying side by side, shocked the world and revealed the perilous depths of fanatic loyalty. Jim Jones's dark legacy endures as a grim warning of the dangers of manipulation and unchecked authority. Number 5. Belle Gunness. A figure shrouded in mystery and horror, Belle Gunness is believed to have been one of America's most prolific female serial killers, with a staggering body count of over 40 victims. This Norwegian immigrant lured unsuspecting men to her Indiana farm through personal ads that promised love and prosperity. Once they arrived, her suitors often met a grim fate, killed for their money or simply to satisfy her insatiable greed. The truth of her heinous acts came to light after her farmhouse burned down, revealing a hidden graveyard of bodies on her property. Despite her disappearance, Gunness's chilling legacy endures, leaving her as a haunting figure in the annals of true crime history. Number 4. Issei Sagawa. The name Issei Sagawa evokes a sense of horror intertwined with bizarre fascination. In 1981, while studying in Paris, he committed a gruesome act that would forever stain his legacy. He murdered and cannibalized a fellow student. His chilling crime shocked not only the French public, but the world at large. Found legally insane, Sagawa was released from prison after only a few years, a decision that sparked outrage and disbelief among many. Instead of disappearing into anonymity, he surprisingly reinvented himself as a minor celebrity in Japan, capitalizing on his notoriety by writing books and making media appearances to discuss his macabre past. His unsettling story raises profound questions about morality, mental illness, and the nature of fame, marking him as a controversial figure in the annals of true crime. Number 3. Albert Fish. In the annals of American crime, few figures evoke as much horror as Albert Fish, a deeply disturbed serial killer whose heinous acts shocked the nation. During the 1920s and 1930s, he became infamous for kidnapping, murdering, and cannibalizing children, leaving a trail of anguish in his wake. What made Fish particularly notorious was his chilling habit of sending disturbing letters to the families of his victims, detailing the gruesome acts he committed, which highlighted a level of depravity rarely seen. His crimes eventually caught up with him, leading to his arrest. And during his trial, he boasted of having committed even more murders than he was charged with. Fish's horrific legacy continues to haunt the collective memory, serving as a grim reminder of the darkest aspects of human nature and the lengths to which some will go to fulfill their twisted urges. Number 2. Joachim Kroll. Joachim Kroll stands out as one of Germany's most notorious serial killers, whose gruesome crimes shocked a nation. Over the course of 2 decades, he is believed to have murdered at least 14 people, preying on vulnerable individuals and committing his horrific acts in near silence. Kroll's reign of terror came to an abrupt end in 1976, when police discovered human remains in his home, leading to his arrest. The subsequent investigation revealed not only his chilling confessions, but also his acts of cannibalism, as he admitted to consuming parts of his victims. Kroll's case became infamous for its brutality and the disturbing insights it provided into the mind of the killer, leaving a lasting imprint on Germany's criminal history. Number 1. Charles Whitman. Charles Whitman, infamously known as the Texas Tower Sniper, is remembered as one of the first perpetrators of mass violence in the United States. On August 1, 1966, he ascended to the observation deck of the University of Texas Tower and unleashed a brutal shooting spree that resulted in the deaths of 16 people and injuries to 31 others. His chilling rampage marked a pivotal moment in American history, signaling the onset of a modern era characterized by mass shootings and public fears of gun violence. Whitman's actions sent shockwaves through the nation, leading to an urgent examination of mental health issues and the need for more effective responses to similar tragedies. The aftermath of his attack prompted discussions about gun control, emergency response protocols, and the psychological factors that can drive individuals to commit such horrific acts. Whitman's legacy is a haunting reminder of the fragility of safety in public spaces and the ongoing challenges of addressing mass violence in society. If this journey has sparked your curiosity or left you with lingering questions, subscribe and stay tuned. Together, we'll continue exploring the stories that are beyond incredible. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.